Clearly, I am not a fat ass. I am active brain and lip-smacking peach deep, sometimes too aggressive in its honesty, and heart sweet, that loves wholly and completely, whom it may choose, whomever it may choose. I am not gonna lie and pacify. I am arms to hold. I am lips to speak. I am a Moroccan G.
Hello, beautiful people. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to TabiaTalks episode 8. And today we're talking about stereotypes. And it's kind of a long episode. I know, don't be mad at me. Just try to make it to the end, but I haven't made a video in a while, so be nice. So this episode was inspired by a little scandal, or a scandalo, if you will, happened a couple of days ago with the E! News anchor Juliana Rancic. And if you're not familiar with who she is, she's on the Fashion Police and she regularly critiques celebrities' fashion choices. So for this particular scandal, she was reviewing Zendaya. She's a Disney Channel star. She was supposed to play Aaliyah, but she didn't. You remember her? Yeah. So she decided she wanted to put faux locks in her hair, which were amazing because I'm going to get some one day. But so she was reviewing her outfit and she made a comment about her hair, saying that she looked like she smelled of patchouli and weed. And apparently this made a lot of people upset. And I understand. People saying ignorant stuff is stupid. But I really want to speak on the other side of that. Why do we get so upset? I understand, like, when people say something ignorant or say some type of stupid stereotype, it can make you feel angry. But why is that? Like, when you think about it, why am I so angry? Usually they're placing their limitation on you and you're accepting it. But this particular situation has absolutely nothing to do with people with locks, and it has everything to do with her limited exposure to people with locks. But first, let me say that she's not excused for what she did. I'm not like trying to appease her or anything like that, but think about it. Like, especially people of color, because people with locks are mostly in our race, we have several examples of people with locks. We see people at the grocery store, we got a grandma with locks, we got a niece with locks. So we have more to choose off of than she did. She might have just watched like a reggae documentary or just seen Bob Marley or saw some guy on the street selling incense. That is her only exposure to people with locks. It has absolutely nothing to do with people with locks. Now, so you don't have to take offense to it. And like I said, she's not excused. People should say ignorant stuff on air, but it's not, you don't have to internalize it. You don't have to put your emotions into it. You don't have to bring any more attention to it. It's like, oh, that's all she's been exposed to. An example could be like, if you had a friend and he was like a really good basketball player and you only visited him while he was playing basketball on the court. Y'all hung out on the court all day and y'all never did nothing else. One day you were walking by and you saw him on the football field and you're like, bruh, I didn't know you could play football. I had no idea. Your brain and him are associated with basketball, and that is all you have been exposed to. So I know it's not that bad, it's not nearly as bad as the stereotypes that we get, but it's the essence of what I'm talking about. Once your brain is familiar with one thing, it always associates that thing with that thing. And stereotypes aren't that big of a deal if you think of it that way. It has absolutely nothing to do with the person it's directed at and everything to do with the limitations of that person. So since we're talking about stereotypes, I feel like I have to talk about my beloved people, being that black people. And we, of course, get all the negative stereotypes placed upon us because I guess it's just fun. We always baby mamas, drug dealers, baby daddies, violent, crazy, lazy. We got all the bad stuff. Now with our particular stereotypes, I do think that we could take more responsibility for them. Now I'm not saying that these stereotypes were actually started by us or they were any type of, it was not malicious, but I think we could take more responsibility for it. Like with our hip hop culture now, like we're not outraged. We're not outraged by what we see on TV or what we hear on the radio. People talking about thoughts and hoes and bitches and drugs and killing and guns. We're not like protesting like, hey, this doesn't represent us. We just accept it. Of course there's people out there who are trying to get rid of it, but for the most part, we're not. We're just playing it in our car, and we're just playing it in the club and dancing to it and backing it up to it. So think, like if I'm just like a little white girl in some suburban town and I have never been exposed to black people in real life and my only exposure is the media, I can see how I can have that stereotype. Not that it's actually true, not that it actually has any truth to it, but that's all I see. And when we don't control our images on TV, there's consequences to it. But on to black men and black women, because you know, that's my thing. So I'll start with the men. We stereotype each other and it breaks my heart. So this is like the main topic that I really want to talk about in this particular vlog, because you know, men and women are my thing and I just gotta talk about it. So since we live in a social media age, you can easily and more readily see everybody's opinion about everything. Even now, I'm sharing my opinion now, so I'm kind of grateful for it, but sometimes it's annoying. So it really breaks my heart when I see all these stereotypes that we hold ourselves, like black men placing all these limitations and stereotypes on black women. And I'm not saying that these type of women do not exist or you have not been exposed to them, but it's so negative and it serves absolutely no purpose to the women that you serve in your race, in your community. Like I see guys like criticizing girls with weave, or criticizing girls with naturals, or criticizing girls with fake eyebrows. And I understand that sometimes, I mean, it does get out of hand sometimes, but at the same time, you are her man. Not necessarily like y'all in a relationship, but you are the male counterpart to her. What you're doing does nothing for us. You posting negative images of black women and criticizing them and saying that they're aggressive or that they're hood or ghetto or ratchet does absolutely nothing. All you're doing is hurting yourself and your future generations to come. Really, what do you think you're doing? You are disrespecting the very mother of future generations. If you want your women to change, to feel upheld, do not post things, but I ain't dealing with this in 2015, or all these girls ratchet, all these thoughts everywhere. What's that gonna do? You can't do stuff like that. If you want to do something better, you post pictures of a woman that you think is beautiful, a woman that you think is standing in her rightful place, a woman that you admire. Do the positive thing of the thing that you do not like. All you are doing is adding to the problem and adding to the stereotype of your women. And you're supposed to protect them. Whether she has weave or drawn on eyebrows or she has nappy hair that you don't like, you need to stand by her. It is your duty, it is your responsibility. What you are doing right now is like shooting yourself in your own foot. Think about it. And all this complaining about black women being aggressive and not being able to be passive and not being able to be sweet is utter madness, because I know a lot of black women like that. Now, have you ever thought about, since I'm attracted to these type of women in my life, what does that say about me? Because the women that you attract in your life are a direct reflection of who you are. So if you're not getting the feminine, sweet woman that you want, check your masculinity. Obviously, it's not up to par, sir. Hate to say it, but once you become more of an evolved man, you're going to attract a more evolved woman. So put your energy towards that. Now, on to the ladies. I know we are probably horrible at this, and it gets on my nerves. All the complaining we do about men online, it does absolutely nothing. Just like I told the men, it does nothing but bring more negative energy, more negative imagery to our people. Like people talking about, oh, he trifling, they ain't about nothing, they ain't about that life, these boys so petty. It's like, why are you posting that? Why is that the only thing that you post? That's exactly where you're gonna get those same dudes who solidify your point. And is that what you want to do? Our men, believe it or not, come from greatness. They have suffered the worst tragedy and the worst degradation this country has ever seen. And if you knew our legacy, what they had to overcome, what they had to endure, what they had to witness, you would never disrespect another one again. To me, blackness is strength, and I will never, ever disrespect another black man, just another person, but still, if you think about it, you need to put that energy into him. Know that he comes from greatness. Know that it is in his blood to protect you and to lead you. Now I know, like in this culture right now, they seem lost, but we're adding to it. We're not giving them the solution. And our job is to show them who they are. And the same for us. But back to the men, like, your women are probably a part of the most disrespected group in the world. And we don't need any more. We don't need you criticizing us. We don't need you pointing out our flaws. We need to be beheld and upheld. And to me, yes, we have our problems, but being that we are a part of that group, we still have grace in our communities. We still have beauty. We still have humanitarianism. We still have love in our hearts despite our histories. So when you look at another black woman, know that she is trying her hardest. Like living in a society that seems upside down to us, but we don't get to feel upheld and put on a pedestal like a lot of other women. And when you do the same thing, it's very hurtful. So to both men and women, you are what you complain about. What do you want to use your energy for? What do you want to attract? Do you want to keep attracting this trifling man? Do you want to keep attracting this girl who draws on her eyebrows and is always everybody's baby mama? Do you want to do that, or do you want something better? And one more thing about stereotypes, because I've had this happen in my own life, and it's not as serious as other people's, I don't want people to feel sorry for me, because I think that's annoying. But like when I was younger, when I was like in elementary school, I thought I was stereotyped because of the texture of my hair. In the black community, people thought that I would be stuck up just because of the texture of my hair, not going off of anything else. And so I faced that during, elementary, middle school, a little bit of high school, just a little bit. But once I realized, so I used to overcompensate because I thought people thought I was gonna be stuck up, so I had to be like extra nice. But once I realized I'm not stuck up, I don't have to appease anybody, I know that, I no longer attracted women who thought that about me. I don't even have to think about that anymore. I don't even think about it at all. So think about you. What stereotypes are you holding? We often get mad at other people for holding that stereotype, but it's really within us. We are never going to be able to control what other people think or what other people say. All we can control is our reaction to it. So think about it. What do you hold in yourself? Some people is weight. Like they think that because they're bigger, they have to act a certain way. They can't be as pretty. Or really crazy, if I'm darker skinned, I can't be as prissy and pretty as a light skinned girl. You are holding that belief. Nobody else is. If somebody else says something ignorant to you like that, they only revealed something about them. They only revealed their limitations, not yours. Just be like, oh, okay, I didn't know that about you. I didn't know you was that limited, but okay, I'll go about my life. So do the work in eliminating your own stereotypes, and you'll be a lot happier. And thanks for watching.